audio sounds like in the chat. And I am monitoring the chat. At least I'm trying to. I don't see anything in there yet. Okay, howdy. Turkey Vulture's in the house. And I guess the audio's okay. Can you hear me? Testing 1, 2, 3. Like the hat. There we go. Oh, today I put the hat on because my hairs, what's left of them, are a mess. So it saves time. And I didn't shave either since this morning. So I've got that heavy shadow going on. So this is a very casual broadcast. Okay, so what we're going to do is we are going to cut to the watches. You want to see the watches? And, whoops, 3. There we go. Oops, I'm wiggling the table. This table's a little bit shaky. That's why the watches are moving. Let it stabilize there in a second or two. And that bright white light on the dress watch, that's just a reflection from my lights. Couldn't get the angles quite right on both watches. But you can see they're pretty close to in sync. It looks like, hard to tell because the one is smooth sweep and the other one is jumping. It's hard to tell if they're right on or if they're just a hair off. Maybe you all can tell me on your view if you think those two are in sync. And so here's the discussion. I've had a bunch of feedback on these watches, on the dress watch, and some of the people. There I go, wiggling the table again. Some of the people in the on Facebook, and I'll switch back to me for a second here, are like, "What are you, crazy? Spending $3,200 on a quartz watch?" And then another guy, God bless him, chimed in the comments and said, "Well, you know, where are you going to get parts for that in 50 years?" I don't think I'm going to live another 50 years, but anyway. So I've read a lot on that, and by the way, these high-end Seiko movements, they've been making them for years. The quartz movement, the 9F, and I think parts are around. And from what I have read, they're very robust. The failure rate is extremely low. So chime in and let me know what you all think about that. I mean, do you think this guy's exaggerating when he says that you're going to have problems with parts? I would think a vintage mechanical watch, sometimes you might have problems getting parts too. He talked about a stepping motor and he talked about different things, but they make that same movement for many years. I would think there would be people that would have parts because these are not throwaway watches. So I would think you can't compare this to a relatively inexpensive quartz watch that was made like 10 or 15 years ago that, you know, maybe they only made for a couple years or whatever. I'm sure you'd have problems getting parts for that, but this has been made consistently for years and it's pretty much the same movement. So what do you all think? Chime in. Let me know what you think. I'm going to also roll in some photos here of the some photos I took today on wrist. So let me switch to the computer feed here, and let me expand this a little bit. There we go. So there's a photo on wrist that I took earlier today, and I'll just kind of scroll through these just to give you an idea of what it looks like on wrist, fully exposed there. And you can't tell from these photos, but it does go under the cuff very easily. It's no problem at all. It slides back and forth underneath. It's only 10 millimeters thick. So I think you can make the argument that for dress purposes under a cuff, that you want a smaller watch. Let's go through all the photos and then we can discuss it. There's the same outfit I have on now. So let me get back to the chat. This guy is crazy. The case is so damn eye-catching. You know, the shape of it is what really drew me to it, is the shape of it and the shape of the lugs. Well, look at that. Looks perfect to me. Love the hat. Okay, I'm going to catch up here. Hi, Craig. Haha, good point. Good to see you live again. Okay, show that puppy off. Okay, the guy is crazy. The case is so damn eye-catching. Audio is good, yes. I think for I paid $3,200 shipped. I thought it was a decent buy. Like the dive watch though too large for me. 43 millimeters, my limit. It wears smaller because of the lugs and because of the weight. So you might want to look at one in person, David, and try it on. It's deceptive. It really. I don't typically like a bigger watch, but I made an exception because of the way this one wears. Let's cut to the watches again. So you can see though that the dress watch is considerably smaller, no doubt. I mean, no argument. But you can also notice there that the actual size of the dial itself, where you're actually using to read the time, yes, it's smaller, but not to the point where it's a detriment, where you can't read the time. You can still read it fine. I can read it on wrist fine, and my eyes aren't that great. Do you have a reference number? Yes, it is. Oh, I didn't put the full number in the. I'm sorry, I put SBGX, but I didn't put the rest. I think it's 038. Let me get the rest. I'm shaking the table. Let me switch back to me. I'll tell you here in a second the whole number. I don't want to give you the wrong reference number. Okay, so it is, yes, SBGX038. SBGX038 is the rest of that reference number. And if somebody could put that in the chat, actually, I can put it in the chat. What am I saying here? $038. And if you want the newer dial with the Grand Seiko at the top, it's a cleaner looking dial without the Seiko at the top. Then you just put a 2 where the 0 is. It's SBGX238. That's the way all the model numbers go. The newer ones have the 2 instead of the 0. Cool, Craig, Grand Seiko. This is fine. Okay, so I'm going to go back to the watch view. So here's the other thing that my thought process on the dress watch is. It's an occasional use watch. I'm not going to wear it every day. I'm certainly not going to wear it often enough to keep an automatic watch running. So therefore, my choices were a manual wind watch, which I just wind up and set the time every time I use it. But that's kind of a hassle because I'm a nut about having the watch be accurate and having the minute hand in sync with the second hand and all those silly things. And I just hate the thought of having to do that every time I'm going to wear the watch. And it would kind of make it so I wouldn't be so apt to grab it and wear it. If I know, I got to set it and all that, I'll just keep the Snowflake on, right? So it would get less use. So with the quartz, it's just always running. I just grab it. I know it's going to be accurate. I just put it on my wrist. So I'm a lazy person. So I like to have things easy if possible. So that's, for an occasional use watch, I really think, and the other thing is from a servicing cost standpoint, if I bought a Patek Philippe or something, and then I do have to service it at some point, that's going to cost an arm and a leg, a couple of services, and I've pretty much paid for this watch. I only paid $3,200 for the watch. That's probably 2, Patek services. So let's see here. What else? So who in the chat can guess what I'm using to shim up the gold watch to get it up to the same height as the diver? What did I use to shim it? What do you think? What do you think I would have used to shim it up? See how observant you all are. I'm a nut about the correct time and the hands being in sync with one another. Yeah, it's not easy to do. You know, when you set it, you got to get it just right. You got to hit the hacking, get the second hand going at just the right moment so you're in sync with the time. And you got to have the hand in just the right spot. And sometimes there's a little wiggle room one way or the other where they're not quite right. And you got to do it again. And so for me, once I get it right, that's what I like about these spring drives is literally like the diver, I don't have to change the time unless there's less than 31 days. And then I can just do the quick check, the date, just change the date. And the time is still good. It's still in sync. On the, so silver dollar, they are American Eagles, silver coins, 1 ounce each. There you go. You were close. You were close. I figure I might as well let the 18 karat gold rest on silver. Could have put it on gold coins, but that wouldn't give me any contrast. Maybe I should have used platinum. Maybe next time I'll use platinum. You did, Craig. I see it in the chat. Okay, so and by the way, these are not easy to find. Let me switch back to me. There are a couple of them on eBay with the gold face, the gold dial. I don't really like the looks of those. I don't know if they look better in person or not, but maybe some of y'all can look on eBay and you'll see what I mean. But the ones with the ivory dial, which is what I have, there's only a couple of them. There's one that's pretty expensive. I think it's more than $4,000, and it looks like it's brand new, though. I mean, it looks like brand new condition. I think they cost $6,000 new over in Japan, but most of the places are sold out. So it's not that easy to find. Any watch in the future may have problems getting parts, but this Seiko, and can't see it being a problem with this quality if serviced properly. Yeah, well, see, the claim to fame of the 9F quartz is you don't even have to service it for 50 years. I mean, it's unbelievable, the movement. It's sealed so well. When you replace the battery, the movement is separately sealed from the battery compartment. So when you open it up to put a battery in it, they thought about that. They didn't want dust and stuff to get anywhere near the movement, so the movement is isolated from that compartment. It's a function of the way that the movement is designed. It's really designed for long term. What's a good Roth IRA to get into? Vanguard, T. Rowe. Okay, so you're going to set up the Roth IRA with like E-Trade or something like that, or if you want to get somebody, a financial manager or whatever. Okay, I just went on E-Trade years ago, and you can set them up. And then you can put money in it, and then you can buy mutual funds. And I can't pull mine up right now to tell you what mutual funds I have, and I really don't want to advise you on mutual funds, and then you buy them, and then, oh, I lost money. What I did was very simple. I just looked at the long-term track record, 10 years track record. I was looking for better than 10% return after fees. And I picked several, and what I do is every year when I put I can put 6,500 in because of my age. Depending on your age, if you're, I think, 55 and over, I think was when it started, you could do 6,500. But anyway, most people, younger people, can only do 5,500. what I do is every year when I put another 6,500 in, I buy another mutual fund. So I'm diversified that way. So each block of $6,500 is in basically a different mutual fund because there's a ton of them out there. The movement will outlast me. Yeah, it'll outlast me for sure, I think. I mean, that's the least of my worries is this movement going to give trouble? They're like robust. Same thing with the spring drive. Very robust. Not another silly hat. Freddy Krueger would be proud. What's the waterproofness rating of the... No, it's not really waterproof. They say like 50 meters, but no, I wouldn't take the sucker in the water. It doesn't have a screw-down crown. Let me cut to the watches. And I just shook the table again. It'll stop moving here in a second. I really should... This is a temporary setup I have here. It's not a very strong table. They changed it this year and raised it to 6,500. What do you mean 6,500? 10% per year return, correct? Yes. Net after fees, you should be trying to get at least 10%. At least that's what I shoot. Excuse me. Oh, excuse me. Drink some water there. Okay, so they changed it this year and raised it to 6,500. Is that for everybody, Craig? Can everybody do 6,500? Please let me know in the chat. And those of us that are over, I think the cutoff age was like 55 years old or something, where they raised it. Can I do more now? That'd be interesting to know. If I can do like 7,500 now or something, I'll do it. I'll max that puppy out, man. That's a best deal. If you're younger, it's a really good deal because all the growth is tax-free. You're paying with taxed money. In other words, the money you're putting in, you've paid taxes on. So that's the downside. The upside is all of the growth, if it's in there for a number of years, right, there's going to be a lot of growth. Most of your money is going to be growth. That's all tax-free. That's the advantage of a Roth. Spring drive is not a real automatic. No, it's better than an automatic. It is. It's got all the great attributes of an automatic movement, but it also has a timing mechanism that's much better than the escapement in a typical manual, mechanical movement. So it really is a huge step forward and just like an order of magnitude better than any mechanical movement. Read up on it. I've got a lot of information on my website, CraigShipp.com /Grand Seiko. I always put links in the chats and all that to it. But it's amazing. The more you learn about that movement, the more you learn about how superior it is to any mechanical movement out there. Okay, get the man some water. I have some water. Let me switch back to me. Okay, so I have some water. So, so Craig, when you said yes, are you saying that any age now can do 6,500? And can older people like me that are ancient, can we do more than that? That's what I was trying to figure out. Turkey Vulture, I have a 45 7B IRA through my government job. I'm interested in opening a Roth as well. You'll have to find out if you can. I don't know the ins and outs of all that, but you need, if you're eligible, if it's legal for you to do a Roth, I highly recommend it, depending on your age. If you're anything 35 years of age or younger, I would definitely recommend a Roth. Get into it as soon as you can. Yes, the older you are, you could max it. Well, yeah, but they have limits on how much you can put in. That's the point. The only thing that Craig and I agree with is Bitcoin and how it will change the world. I hope it does. I hope it succeeds. I think it'll be so cool if it succeeds. Not just because I have it, but just because I love the concept of something that isn't controlled by government and other people, that is kind of like the people's money, if you will. One more Grand Seiko FAP time, nice. Okay, Craig. Correction, new IRA limit is 6K, and folks over 55, it's now 7K. Cool. Man, thank you. Thank you, because January 1, I'm going to put in another 7K. I already did it for this year. Oh, by the way, can I put in, because I put 6,500 in this year, can I put in the rest now to catch up for this year? I'll have to look into that. If I can do that, I'll do that, max out, and then max out next year. Good to know, man. There were rumors they were going to get rid of the Roth IRA. That would suck. If you want investment advice, ask an investment advisor. A watch channel is not the best place. That's for sure. That's the understatement of the century. But I think people knowing about Roth IRAs is a good thing, especially younger people. Are you, and you're not interested, you're not ancient, you're a horologist, Smile. Good afternoon. What do you think about controlled paperless currencies like we're seeing in the Nordic countries? I don't want anything controlled. I mean, that's the beauty of Bitcoin, is theoretically nobody can control it and manipulate it and all that. Now, once it all settles down and a lot of the whales have sold. See, what's happening now is a lot of whales are selling their Bitcoin when they can. They're dumping chunks of it, and that's why it's been very volatile. But once it's more distributed, where more normal people have it, and it's more distributed, it will start stabilizing. And then I think what it's going to do is just slowly go up and up and up and up in value, because it's the deflationary currency, because it's limited in supply. So assuming all that happens, in other words, assuming it takes off and it becomes more mainstream, it'll be a very stable, deflationary store value and currency, which is, I think, a very good thing if that happens. It's a big if. I'm rooting for it, but it's a big if. I know I just wanted Craig's perspective because he brought up a few times. Craig, and also we have talked about the idea of investing in watches and why it's a bad idea. So it does make sense to talk about, what's a good idea? What should you invest in? I like real estate. I've got some houses that's very stable. I like real estate, long term. But I also like mutual funds. Okay, which Rolex do I buy? GMT Master 2, Sub-Date, or Datejust 41? I'd get the GMT Master 2. I'm a little bit prejudiced because I've had a couple of them, and I like them. They're a little bit thinner usually than the Sub, and they've got that extra versatility of being able to move that hour hand when you need to, back and forth. And they look cool on a Jubilee bracelet. And the Datejust 41, I saw one at Steve's. I got a video clip of it at Steve's watch show a couple weeks ago, and it looked a little bit too big. It just, the Snowflake is 41, but that one looked bigger for some reason. I don't know. It just didn't look right to me. I would, of those three, I would go with the GMT Master 2. Gotta run. Have a good evening, night all. Take care. Are you concerned about governments flat out banning Bitcoin or placing injunctions against businesses? Yeah, governments can do all kinds of things to try to stop it. But it's going to be difficult. It's hard for them to control the internet, too. They put up firewalls, they do all kinds of things. So if people figure out ways, and it's going to be interesting to see what happens, how it all plays out. But yes, it's possible. But what's going to happen is some governments are going to allow it and embrace it. And so businesses will start locating there, and it'll be become a competitive thing. And so maybe the U.S., for example, wouldn't want to be left out and would embrace it because of the competitive advantages of the new technology and embracing it. So it's going to be interesting to see how all that plays out, but that's a very good point. They're already trying to tax it by making Coinbase report everybody and report transactions and all that, so they can get you on the capital gains taxes when you sell it. They're already doing that. Leave it at that, though. Getting into details here is questionable. I agree. Which color, Craig? Just black or Batman? I had the black bezel. This is pre-ceramic times. This is years ago. I had the all-black bezel and the Jubilee bracelet, and the watch was stunning. But they're all good. I also had a GMT2 with the Pepsi bezel with a oyster bracelet. Datejust should be 36 mil. I agree. A 36 mil Datejust. Talk about a perfect all around. If you were just going to have one watch, they're nice and thin. You could wear it as a dress watch. It would go under the cuff. You could wear that watch anytime, anywhere. If I only had one watch, if I could only have one watch and I didn't want to buy a Day-Date, I'd probably buy that just because it's so versatile. I think it's even thinner than a Day-Date. At least the earlier ones were. I don't know what they are now. Probably 12 millimeters thick or something, or 11 and a half. Maybe somebody can chime in the chat and tell us exactly how thick the Datejust is. 36 mil Datejust. The new one versus the older one. GMT Master, black or Batman, worth the extra price. Well, I sure as hell wouldn't pay extra for anything. I would get what you want, what you like, and, you know, hopefully it'll be the one that's less. I agree, Dominic. Okay. Batman is overpriced. Worth it to buy the black bezel. The black is gorgeous, man. I kind of like it better than the Batman. You know, some of these things are going to be flashes in the pan. You know, they're not necessarily going to be the long-term thing. You know, whereas the black has always been popular and always looks good. I wonder if the Datejust looks bigger because the lugs are longer and further from the case than the Snowflake's shorter lugs. I think they both have good designs. Let's go back to the watches. I think they both have good designs as far as the shape of the case and all that. I wouldn't give either one the edge there. Here, I'll go back to me and I'll show you there's what it looks like on wrist. You can kind of get a look at it there. I like the shape. I like that the way these lugs curve down. It really, and because it's titanium, this is so freaking comfortable, gentlemen. I cannot tell you. This just disappears on your wrist. And they, it feels cheaper. It doesn't. It's very solid. It feels very good. I mean, doesn't rattle. I mean, it's all that in a bag of freaking chips. I could wear this watch all the freaking time. If I had younger eyes and could read better without my glasses, I probably wouldn't have bought the diver's watch. I bought the diver's watch for readability. I wish I had a clean example of a 1016. I'll never pay the price they are now. GMT Master, green accents, green GMT hands, looks awesome. Affordable alternative to any affordable alternative to Rolex Datejust. You can buy a Datejust pretty affordable. I saw one for $2,200 the other day that wasn't bad. Look around, go to some pawn shops and stuff. Of course, make sure you're getting the real deal. But I think you can get one in decent, serviceable shape. It's going to have hollow end links. You know, it's going to be an older one. But you can probably get one for $2,000. You look around. That's pretty reasonable. GMT, good starter watch, man. I mean, it's not cheap, but it's for a Rolex, that's pretty good. GMT, okay. GMT compared to, oh my God, yes. Especially if you get the older GMT. Cases are great on those. So is the Snowflake going to stay or go, or are you still debating? I would probably let it go if somebody came up with $5,000 cash, but I'm not going to give the watch away. I like it. It's comfortable. I enjoy it. I think all three is a good mix. I think for everyday use, I'm wearing the Snowflake during the day. I'm wearing the diver at night. And then when I dress up in a suit or whatever, I've got the gold watch. I think that's a good trifecta. That's a trifecta. Fluted or domed bezel on the Datejust. You know what? The advantage to the fluted, believe it or not, let's go back to the watches. The advantage to a fluted bezel is, believe it or not, it does not scratch as easy as the flat. The flat bezel shows everything because it's as soon as you hit it with anything, it just has a little scratch. Whereas the fluted, it doesn't show it. It's weird. And you would think it's the opposite because that's gold, the fluted bezel. But because of the way it's cut and all, it doesn't show any scratches. Just like the Day-Date, the President bracelet, because of the way it's curved, it holds up very well. It doesn't show scratches. It gets little hair-type scratches on it, but they don't show. That's why you have to experience these watches before you realize what is really up with them. Because everybody says, "Oh, well, gold watches, they scratch so easily," and all that. No, they don't. They get a patina and they get the little scratches like the one you're seeing on the screen right now. They get those little scratches, but they look really cool. It doesn't hurt them. It makes them look really cool. If you look at that interview with the golfer, Jack Nicklaus, and you look at his watch that he's worn for like 50 years or something, it's in that interview and all that. Sure, it's got a lot of wear on it, but it looks fantastic. It looks fantastic. He's been wearing it every day for like 50 years. You can wear a gold watch all the freaking time, gentlemen, if you want to. Okay, so let me catch up on these comments. I went with a fluted bezel and Datejust, then I have Jubilee bracelet, but I went with the smooth bezel and I picked the oyster. Yeah, absolutely. If you're going to go smooth, you absolutely want the oyster. Gold Rolex has only €300 in gold, 20K euro for a base model. Buy them used, man. You're not going to pay that kind of money. You can buy a nice example, depending on the gold Rolex you want to get, a Submariner, a GMT. You should be able to get a nice one for a Day-Date, anywhere from 10 to 15,000 US. That's what I would do. Have you been a one-watch person before? Ever since I've been an adult, ever since I got my first good job, I was lucky I got a good job when I was 18 years old. I was actually selling cars. I was making really good money. I bought the Day-Date used, an 1803 that was in not great shape. It had a lot of stretch in the bracelet, but it was serviceable. I used it. I wore it. That was my starter watch. I wanted something flashy, man. Selling cars and going out all the time and dressing in suits, driving brand new cars, 18 years old. You want something flashy, right? And that was the watch to have, the Day-Date. Then I got a steel watch to wear as a beater, and that was usually a Submariner or a GMT. And that's what I've done for years, is a steel Rolex and a gold Day-Date as a rotation. Always two watches, to answer your question. You should put the Snowflake as a giveaway. Yeah, I should. First, I do not think that you will ever need parts. The other thing is that the solid gold watch is smoking with the white face. I just checked the Grand Seiko site, and the solid gold models are 27K. Yeah, but not this model. This model's only about 6,000 new, I think, but they're hard to find, and they're Japan-only market watch. Maybe somebody can research that, what they are brand new. Okay, so Tudor Black Bay at our Planet Ocean. Which one do I flip if I acquire the Rolex GMT? If you've got those watches, sell everything, man. Sell everything and get the Rolex. I would either have a Rolex or a Grand Seiko. I wouldn't have any other brand, period, full stop, done, unless you want to step up to a Patek. Let me switch back. Switch back to me. Okay. You know what makes me happy? My late 60s Datejust 1601 with date snaps, changes exactly at midnight. I don't know automatic. Cool. How long have you had the Datejust? And what configuration is it? Does it have a smooth bezel? I mean, what bracelets on it? Have you ever had a Rolex Presidential? Have you ever had a Rolex Presidential? That's my Grail watch, 18 karat gold. You mean a day-date? Yeah, that's what I've owned for 40 years. Yeah, that's the watch. First one I had was an 1803 with a conventional clasp. I really loved that watch because it had micro adjustments on the clasp. Those are really hard to find now. For the money, I wonder if you could special order one from Rolex. That'd be cool to get. A brand new day-date with a freaking conventional clasp on it. Maybe with a glide lock or something. How cool would that be? For the money, you have a real bargain. I think $3,200 was a good deal. Let's switch back to the watches. What do you guys think? Was $3,200 shipped a good deal? Now, remember, it's only a 35 millimeter watch, okay? So some people don't like a small watch, but for a dress watch, I think it's perfect. I think it's very classic, very elegant. You saw the wrist shots, and my wrist is 7.25 inches. So what do you think? Hey, Craig, gold Datejust 36. They're kind of hard to find in good shape. If you could find one in good shape with a Jubilee bracelet in gold without a bunch of stretch in it, yeah, I'd go for that in a heartbeat. That'd be a super freaking cool watch. But that's all condition. You got to find one in good condition, and they're rare. It's a two-tone fluted bezel with a Jubilee. Two-tone. Yeah, I like that watch. A 36 Datejust two-tone, absolutely, with the Swiss bracelet probably on it. Yeah, white dial, absolutely. Does it have lume? Have you ever had a Seiko Prospect Marine? No, not the Marine Master. I had the SBGX007. I have a video on my channel here that had 700,000 views. That was a hell of a watch. I wore it for 2 years. Titanium also. SBGX007. It's called the Shogun. Have a two-tone Datejust 41 Rolls Gold. Well, I mean, I think rose gold's okay. I don't think anybody's necessarily against rose gold. I would rather have the regular gold. Personally, I think it looks better. No substitute for just straight up 18 karat gold, yellow gold. I mean, look at that freaking gold. I mean, you're looking at it right there. It is freaking, you cannot stop looking at it. People, I don't want a gold watch. What the hell are you thinking? I'm sure as hell not going to pay $10,000 for a steel Rolex. I would much rather buy a gold watch for that same price. You can buy, I bet you could buy a gold Datejust on a strap for less than that, for less than 10 grand, in really good shape. I don't think you could get one on a bracelet in really good shape for less. Maybe you could. Can you guys check? How much would a Datejust, 18 karat gold Datejust be on a bracelet in really good shape? Not a lot of stretch in the bracelet. The original dial and a service dial from Rolex with Luminova. Gotcha. Did not see anything comparable in 18K. What do you mean, Jeff? What were you looking for? That's gold. That's gold straight out of mine. Not sure what you mean. I have given it to you a bit on this channel in comments, but you're actually okay, Craig. I've just subscribed. Greetings from Australia. Are you one of the ones that unsubscribed? By the way, I had somebody else unsubscribe today. They said, I'm done. There's too much hate on this channel just because I said that he should get rid of his tutors. I said, sell the tutors. He didn't like that at all. They're great watches. I said, get rid of them while you can. Get out of them while you can. He said, I'm unsubscribing. That would be a fair price for a steel Rolex. What would be a fair price for a steel Rolex? It depends on the Rolex. Again, a Datejust, an older one. I saw one for $2,200 just the other day over at Steve's, and that was retail at a jewelry store. I think you can get a better price if you get it out of a pawn shop, or you get it hopefully on Craigslist or something like that, but be careful. But I think you can get those watches for around $2,000 in decent shape, a Datejust. And that's a hell of a watch. Have you ever heard of the GS SBGE201? Spring drive GMT watch with the rotating sapphire bezel. Yeah, that's a very nice watch. I'm trying to remember why I didn't buy it. I'm trying to remember why I bought the diver instead. Oh, well, first of all, I don't think that one's titanium. I think they do make one that's titanium, though. But I don't remember why I didn't buy that, why I just bought the diver. Maybe I just liked the diver. And I know I do like the extension bracelet on it, the clasp, which everybody knocks. But I've gotten really used to it. When I first saw the clasp, I didn't like it either. But I've gotten used to it, and I really like the functionality of it. You think the service dial is a big deal? No, I would just enjoy the watch. From a collector standpoint, he wants it all original, but I'm not a collector. I buy watches to enjoy and love, and if I can buy it cheaper because it's got a service dial, if I like the dial and I figure it was all done right by Rolex, I'd buy it if I liked it. I own a Tudor. I'm not offended. Oh, geez. I'm sure it's a good watch, but I would get rid of it and get an older Rolex. How much can you get for your Tudor? A Tudor is not impressed. I sold my Black Bay. Good move. I need a pre-ceramic gold GMT nipple dial in my life on Jubilee. Not sure what a nipple dial is, but they would probably be a good move. Hell yeah, a gold GMT? Are you kidding me? On a Jubilee bracelet? Get out of my way. Absolutely. Let's go take a watch check here. Abso-positively-lutely. I did not see any platinum gold or gold for less than $20K. Wait, what model are you looking for? And where are you looking? Are you on Chrono 24? And by the way, always lowball, make low offers, and try to do some deals in person with cash. You'd be surprised the deal you can get with cash in person. Yes, I did vote early. There's an 1803 yellow gold white dial day-date on eBay for $9,500. Has the president bracelet and micro adjustment clasp. Oh, that's freaking cool. I bet it's got a lot of play in it though. Did you look at how much stretches in the bracelet? That's the issue. Because if you could find one of those with a tight bracelet, that's super rare. Because those are old suckers, man. But I loved my 1803, and I didn't mind the gyration you had to go through to set it. You know, it was a pain in the neck to get the date and the date and all right. It wasn't that hard, but I mean, it was kind of a pain in the neck without the quick set. But I got used to it. I figured out how to do it. Oh my God, that is such a cool freaking watch. And see, you could buy that for less than buying a new steel Rolex, in the aftermarket with the markup. $9,500, and I bet you could get it for like maybe $8,500. And on eBay, I think you get buyer protection. So if they try to screw you over, I think you can get out of the deal. Sold mine for $2,500. There you go. Brian, can you give us some more information about that 1803? Weird Science. I've never sprung for a new Tudor. I like the older ones, Rolex cases. Pelagos. In your opinion, is a Rolex Explorer 1 equally as versatile as a 36mm Datejust? Not quite. Well, you're saying in white gold, you're talking about a Datejust with a white gold bezel. That's extremely versatile. That's more versatile than an Explorer 1. And I love an Explorer 1, but an Explorer 1 cannot be quite as dressy. That's where you lose the versatility. It can't be quite as dressy as a Datejust, especially if the Datejust has a Jubilee. Knowledgeable man, I like your points. Thanks from Canada. Buying Rolex without papers at a credible dealer. Yeah, again, if you can get a good deal, a better deal, because the papers aren't there, but you're getting the real deal on the watch, and you're not planning on reselling it. Sonny, hello, Sonny. Sonny, how are you feeling? We're talking watches. This probably is not subject matter. Let me cut to the watches so we can show her the watches. There you go. There's the watches on the live feed. So, let's see here. And chime in. Let me know how you're feeling, Sonny. Nashville watches are all very nice professional vendors for Rolex. 1803 is from 1971, and the seller is reporting less than average stretch. If it's good, serviceable, even if it has a little bit of stretch, if it's good and serviceable, if you could get that thing for $8,500, you would love that watch. That is a cool watch. Of course, I'm prejudiced because that was my first real watch that I bought. And I bought it in about 1978. And I think mine was more like a 66 model. Mine was older than a 71. No Grand Seiko website. Grand Seiko is not good at marketing. That's why they, most people don't even know about them. Want me to post a link? Sure, Brian. Sorry, Mr. Ship. Phone died before you answer my question. Do you know of a affordable alternative to a Rolex Datejust? Yeah, what I was saying was if you buy an older Datejust, you can get one for probably around $2,000. Do you want to spend less than $2,000? How much are you looking to spend? Thank you. They are beautiful. I'm getting better. One last doctor's appointment. Okay, Sonny, we're pulling for you. We are pulling for you. Let me switch back. I don't want to give you too much watch feed there because an overdose of watches is not a good thing. Seiko Alpinist is a good, cheap alternative to Rolex Datejust. Yeah, I've heard good things about those. I think I would buy the SBGA231 Shogun diver. You can buy them used for probably around $600 in really good shape. Thanks, Sonny. I'm going to buy white snowflakes GS with yellow gold. Are you talking about the snowflake with the gold hands and indices? That's beautiful. That's a beautiful watch. If I knew that existed, I would have bought that instead of the one I bought. But Steve, I don't think has the... I think they're going to bring that one to the U.S., but I think it was mainly Japan market with the gold. I liked it. I liked the look of it. Some people say it's not really like a real snowflake, because of the gold, but I think it's cool. Of course, I haven't seen one in person, so if I saw it in person, maybe I wouldn't like it, but I think I would love it. I'm going to buy, looking to spend $1,000. You don't want a diver's watch? Because the SBGA231 is fantastic. That's SBGA231. I've got a review on my channel, a couple of videos about that watch. I love that watch. I wore it for 2 years. Fantastic. Love your insights. Thanks. Belgium signing out. Thank you. Okay, anybody else have any questions before we wrap? And I'm going to go back to another time check here. Time check on the watches. Onyx dial, President Rolex is cool. Yeah, they're okay. I would rather, personally, I like it's hard to find, but I like the regular black dial with the loomed hands and indices. Absent that, I'd go with anything with a white dial. But see, I want higher contrast. Mine had the silver dial, which is not that easy to read when your eyes get older. But if you're a young guy, then you don't have to worry about any of that. Just get the one you like. I'm so hesitant to buy a watch on eBay, afraid I'll get ripped off and will regret not buying new. Well, no, I think if you buy from a reputable seller, look at their ratings and all that, and I think you get the buyer protection. I think eBay will back you up. Confirm that. Don't take my word for it, but I think I bought this watch, the gold one, on eBay. I had a great transaction. The guy was really good. Always preferred yellow gold, but noticed Rolls gold is rarer and understated. No, yellow gold, man. Forget about the understated part. Let's just go with the yellow gold. Let her rip. You're going to go all the way, man. Many presidents wore them, says Jean-Claude Best's Paddocks. I'd love a tour of the GS workshop. Oh, man, have you seen the videos on that? There's some videos on YouTube. Those guys are super cool, man, those guys that make those watches. And gals. I wanted a Rolex, but I'm starting to want a Grand Seiko. What's the best option? What is your price range? How much are you looking to spend? Let's start there. And then I'll tell you what your options are. Loving the live chat. Keep it up. Yes, buy the seller, do your homework. Absolutely. And make sure that it's got the buyer protection on it. If you have to call eBay and talk to them, they've got good customer service. I've gotten through to them no problem when I needed to. Of course, I sell a lot of things on there and buy a fair number of things, so they treat me good. But I think they treat everybody good. I'm not that scared to buy something on eBay if I think it's a good buy and I think the seller's good. Now, if it looks too good to be true, then red flags should go up. Rolex GMT2 versus GS Snowflake. Really two different watches. The Snowflake is kind of like a good all-around watch. If you're only going to have one watch to wear every day, I think the Snowflake for sure. If you're going to be in a two-watch rotation, then the GMT2 and then something else, like maybe something in gold. But you could wear a GMT2 all the time also. Absolutely, you could wear that all the time. I would, between those two, in today's day and age, I would buy the Snowflake, and you can buy them for around anywhere from $4,500 to $5,000 used. $4,500 is kind of the bottom that you might get one for, I think. And that's a lot of watch for the money. And it is super freaking comfortable. And what do you guys think? Is it a nice looking watch? What do you guys think? You're looking at it. There it is. What do you think? Hi, have you purchased from... No. The only watches I've purchased recently, I've purchased from Steve at Little Treasury, the two titanium watches, and of course the gold watch I bought on eBay. Before that, I bought the SBDC007 from shoppinginjapan.net. Shoppinginjapan.net for the Japanese-only watches was always a good source. I only bought the one watch from them, but I've heard good things about them. Thinking about a sub from them. Safe to buy from the internet. I don't know that. I don't know that outlet. Bye all from Australia. Thanks, Craig. Okay, hello. Bye. Bye, Weird Science. Okay, yes, it's a stunner. Looks beautiful. What's a stunner? Are you talking about the Snowflake? You're going to buy a sub, get it new from a retail dealer. They're not going to have it in stock. At least not right now. If you get lucky and you find one in stock, yeah. Hobart watches sounded right up your alley, Craig. A watch designed to St. Royal Oak, whose design you absolutely love, especially integrated bracelet. Are you freaking kidding me? Can you imagine somebody designing a watch, a high-end watch, with an integrated bracelet, and then these poor saps buy it, and they claim it's great? Did you guys hear the story? Did you guys hear the story? This is true, okay? I know you don't like the Tudor. In your opinion, is it not worth it, the Tudor? Yeah, I would spend the same money on an older Rolex. Get a real Rolex, not a wannabe Rolex. Yeah, you have to wait. Have a friendly dealer, but you probably don't want to sub anyway. Okay, so here's the story I was going to tell you guys. Of course, I'm pulling your leg. Okay, here's the deal. This guy went into the Louvre, okay, in Paris. Okay, he went in, and he had a pair of eyeglasses. Oops, I just bumped the damn mic. He had a pair of eyeglasses similar to mine, not that fancy, you know, nothing real special. And he took the eyeglasses off and he set them down on the floor, you know, kind of like between two displays or whatever. And he sat there regarding the sunglasses, kind of just looking at them like they were art, you know, studying them. And after a short period of time, there were 4 or 5 other people gathered around, all looking at the glasses. They all thought that they were art. The guy totally trolled them, and that's what these Royal Oak and these sport freaking watches with integrated bracelets. I mean, they've somehow scammed everybody to make them think that these things are attractive. You know, they're ugly. It's just ridiculous to buy one of those things. I can't imagine wearing one of those things and spending the kind of money on it. Are you kidding me? When you could buy a day-date, brand new, a 36 mil day-date, or buy, if you want real flashy, buy the 40 mil day-date for less money. You've got a watch that's 10 times more beautiful. Chime in the chat, okay? A Royal Oak or a freaking 40 millimeter day-date. You tell me what looks better. And forget about price for now. Just say they were both the same price. Or a, what's the Patek with the, what's the ugly Patek? Now the name's slipping my mind. The ugly one with the integrated bracelet. Anyway, those two watches, the Royal Oak, Audemars Piguet, I guess it is, or whatever, you know, you know the watches I'm talking about. Okay, Turkey says the day-date. What is your opinion on Doxa watch? I don't know. I don't know what Doxa watch is. Day-date all day, Kevin says. Kevin's a smart guy. I'm looking for a new watch around 25 to 30K. Well, you're in day-date range. Yep, that's day-date all the way. Prefer the 36 mil. The problem is, the thing that's tempting about the 40 mil is it's got the ceramic sleeves in the bracelet. I wish they would do that on the 36 mil also, and then it would be a no-brainer. You'd go for the 36 mil. Although I don't think the new bracelets stretch that much because of the solid links, solid center links and all that. I think they hold up pretty good. So that may not be a real issue. Day-Date looks better than Royal Oak or Aquanaut for sure. Absolutely. And it's cheaper. But even forgetting about the price difference, what is integrated bracelet? Never heard this term until today. Randy, it means that the bracelet is more integral to the watch. It doesn't have, you can't take the bracelet off. Like this just has a pin going through, right? Holding the bracelet on. I can take this bracelet off. I can put a leather strap band on it very easily. I just have to get a 20 millimeter, leather strap, and I can put it on. Integrated bracelet is proprietary to the watch. And so if the bracelet ever gets screwed up or something happens, you're screwed. Because, you got to pay an arm and a leg to get it fixed, if you can even get it fixed. And it's a mess. Even the Day-Date does not have an integrated bracelet. You can just take that bracelet off, the President bracelet, and put it on a strap, and it still looks great. And so you got that versatility. Plus, it looks better. I think it looks better than the watches with the integrated bracelets. And I don't like a square case on a watch, period. Day-Date is my grail. Absolutely Day-Date all the way. People are like, I don't want a gold Rolex. Well, what the hell are you thinking? Get the Day-Date, no-brainer. Definitely the Day-Date. Day-Date is it. Look, I'm not seeing anybody saying get the Royal Oak and the... What's the Patek? The name slipped my mind. What's the Patek? Why in the hell can't I think of the name? You guys know the one I'm talking about. The Patek with the sport watch. All right. Well, I think I'm going to call it a day. Let's take another watch check. Watch check. Okay, 40 mil, Day-Date, of course, rose gold with a chocolate dial for me. And the Patek, you're thinking, yeah, Nautilus. Exactly, Nautilus. Oh, my God, are you kidding me? I'm going to pay all that money for a freaking Nautilus. It's not as heavy duty. It's not as attractive. It has an integrated bracelet. It's not as reliable as the Day-Date. The Day-Date is bulletproof, reliable. It's been around since 1956. It's all that and a freaking bag of chips. Howdy, man. I missed it. Do you have any questions before I go? Any comments or questions? We've got the watches on the screen. I'm just shaking the table again. What do you guys think? Do you think that the spring drive is a little bit ahead of the quartz, or are they in sync? They're Nautilus complications, steel models going for $100,000. Yeah, can you imagine? Oh my God. Fool and his money often will be parted. Here's the thing about the Day-Date. Here's the thing about the Day-Date. Even people that don't know watches, when they see you with that on your wrist, they are impressed. They know something's going on there. I mean, even if they don't know what a Rolex is, they don't know anything about watches, they see a freaking Day-Date, they know that you're in charge. Period. Full stop. My phone just thought I was talking to it. Spring drive is about the same, I think. What's the best looking 3 hands mechanical GS? That's a really good question. Yeah, I would definitely go to Little Treasury's website, littletreasury.com, and just look through all the models he has. And you got to go to an AD sometime that has a good inventory and really see, touch, and feel the Grand Seikos, because you got to see them in person. They're just freaking gorgeous in person. I'll tell you, the quartz model that they have now, the limited edition that's 5 seconds a year accurate, that's got the rice link bracelet, is gorgeous. It's in my video I put up a week or two ago showing all the models that were at the show. Watch that video if you haven't seen it. I've got a video on my channel of a bunch of different Grand Seiko models that I looked at and I took a video of. You're going to buy a Rolex tomorrow at Little Treasury. What would it be? Well, he's not a Rolex dealer. He has some used ones from time to time, but he's not a Rolex dealer. If I was going to buy a Rolex tomorrow, what would I buy? I would look around. I probably wouldn't buy it tomorrow. I would look around for probably a used Datejust. That's the sweet spot right now. They're not selling for that much. And I'll tell you, I like the turnograph on them. I like the Datejust with the turnograph bezel. That's kind of cool. The older ones. And you can buy a real nice one, I think, for around $5,000. You know, with the gold turnograph bezel. They look cool. Snowflake is the best GS, I'd say. It's awesome. Snowflake is awesome. You really got to look at them, though. I have several GSs, but no Snowflake. Weird, huh? Yeah, well, yeah, I hear you. I mean, there's a lot of good options. Thanks for another great stream. Keep up the good work. Tudor Black Bay is prettier than a sub. I like them, particularly the 58. Yeah, but you got other better options. You don't need to buy a sub or a Black Bay. You can buy a Datejust. Let's just take a second and just marvel at the spring drive movement for being able to keep up with the high accuracy quartz. I'll tell you, I just wiggled the table again. My particular spring drive is insanely accurate. I had to reset it because daylight savings times changed, but it was still within a second after almost 6 months. It had not gained or lost a freaking second. It's totally insane how accurate it is. Now, my Snowflake gains almost 2 seconds a month, about 1.5 or 3/4 seconds a month it's running, which is still really good. But that diver's watch, that can be my reference watch. It is always spot freaking on accurate. It's insane. Turnograph is very underrated. It's true. Oh, man, I love that watch, the turnograph. It's fantastic. That's a really cool watch with the gold. I like the older one with the gold bezel on it. They're both quartz watches. Yeah, they're both regulated by the quartz, absolutely. All right, well, I'm going to wrap, I think. I wasn't planning on doing this broadcast, but I had everything set up, and I forget why I started it. But I just wanted to address a few things. And then, of course, we got into the chat here. So anyway, let me just terminate this broadcast. If I hit stop here, what happens? Complete event. Sure you want to stop. Complete.